Well, 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 good morning. Another 111 video. The title is Expect the Unexpected in Court. I was in court again yesterday. As I indicated in the previous video, I felt confident. I didn't know exactly what to expect, however, I did not feel the normal overwhelming feelings that I often battled the day of an appearance. I was there a half an hour early and was told to go to the waiting room of the chambers of Judge David Dugan. When the bailiff deputy began handing out papers to those in the waiting room, he skipped me. I raised my hand and he came over to me. I showed him my paperwork notice of hearing. He took the paperwork into another room, returning a few minutes later, informing me that the hearing had been canceled. And I have an extra word in there, and I don't know where that came from. When asked for some proof of my appearance, I was told I had to go see the clerk of court. There the cancellation was confirmed. However, they could not provide anything that would show my proof of appearance. That began a runaround. And now for the rest of the story. Indeed, it was an insane day yesterday morning in the courtroom once I just realized or was told that the hearing had been canceled. And I didn't want to leave that courtroom till I had some kind of documentation that I was there. Now, of course, I will be following it up with an affidavit, which they don't like affidavits because that's truth, and courts don't like to deal with truth. But after going between Judge Dugan's judicial assistant, whom I didn't actually talk to, the lady at the receptionist talked to Judge Dugan, and it was told that it had been moved to Judge Harris's court, which Judge Harris was the original judge in the case. And I had talked with his judicial assistant, Krista Pilaf, actually on a number of occasions. And finally, after going back and forth between a few people, Krista came out and actually brought me some paperwork that I had never seen before. Here's an order filed with the court on October 2nd. And here's a summary final judgment for ejectment filed October 6th with the court. I never saw either of these papers until yesterday, when she gave me a copy of them. Here's what happened. Now, I was in court on October 2nd, and I have videos to attest to that. And of course, I filed an affidavit, and a motion to dismiss, in which I went through in the affidavit that I had appeared in the court, et cetera, documenting my facts. And of course, I send everything, certified or registered mail with a return receipt requested. I never provide anything to the court that I do not have proof of delivery. I properly serve, which they don't do. They just send it in first-class mail. They have no proof of delivery. They assume delivery, but there's no proof of delivery. I cover my ass. And when you're dealing with the court, expect the unexpected, because they are liars. They are running a criminal operation, and it's a conspiracy to defraud the people on behalf of the banks and the corporations. Folks, you need to get this through your head. Now, someone sent me a video by Cryon again yesterday, and I listened. I like Lee Carroll. I've always liked Lee Carroll for a long time. But again, he's telling us to stop pushing against the government and things like that. Who do you think that serves? Does it serve truth? Does it serve getting freedom? Does it serve fixing anything? Or does it maintain the status quo? Don't stop pushing against us. We don't like you to push against us. Folks, wake up, please. Please wake up. I mean, I'm not saying Lee is a bad person, but Cryon, whoever Cryon is, and he's given a lot of wonderful information that warmed my heart. But when he starts telling people to not stand up for truth and not speak out to power and to not push against the system, the matrix, he's giving bad advice. And it should not be listened to. You listen to it at the detriment of everybody that's fighting a battle to be heard and to have truth win over lies. You're supporting the enemy when you listen to that kind of rhetoric. You're supporting evil. When are you going to understand that in three-dimensional reality, we are required to stand up and speak out because silence is deemed as consent? When are you going to wake up? Why do you think that everything that I get from the court, I respond to? I answer them. Now, I will answer this, but I didn't get it till yesterday. It wasn't shown to me till yesterday. I didn't know of its existence till yesterday. They have in their records the facts that I didn't know about it because I filed paperwork, and I have filed paperwork subsequent to the initial paperwork filed on the 3rd of October last year. So these people are in a conspiracy to defraud. They are breaking their own rules. Now, apparently, there was a hearing conducted, and the attorney for the supposedly for PNC Bank, which PNC Bank would not confirm to me, even though I tried and talked to 8 different people, which is also documented by affidavit. The attorney apparently changed the judge so that when I go up with my notice of hearing to go before Judge Harris, I'm told you're not even on the docket. Well, they had changed it to Judge Dugan's docket. Of course I'm not on Judge Harris's docket. It was changed behind my back so that they could get a ruling for final summary judgment for ejectment without me even being able to speak up. This is a crime, folks. This is not just a crime, it's a felony. They deserve to serve time in prison for this. The judges and the attorneys and people in PNC Bank who, because they don't acknowledge that she's their attorney, have plausible deniability. But it's all fraud. And this is what's going on in our country, in the United States, and it's probably going on around the world. This criminal syndicate, the Illuminati cabal, the Western Illuminati cabal, is ripping people off and maintaining a human slave trade. And it's up to us to raise our voices and say, I do not consent. Because silence is consent. When you do not speak out to power and speak up to power, you are consenting to evil. That's simply the way it is in this world. I wish it wasn't. I wish it could be some other way. Now, it's interesting that I have the sense, even with all of that happening yesterday, that I'm still in a good place. In fact, my retired lawyer friend said, you've got them right where you want them. Oh, really? Now they've got these motions, and I was told by the clerk of court that they have filed another motion, which I don't have yet. I wonder if I'll actually be mailed it. This shows, by the way, that it was mailed to me. Never was, but it showed that. But of course, it's not. There's no verification as far as an affidavit because they haven't sworn to anything that they sent it. They just list it as the people that were served: myself, my daughter, my son-in-law, my unnamed occupants, which is my 3 grandchildren. This is fraud, and it's time that we stopped it. My friend the lawyer says you have them right where you want them, because they held, obviously, a hearing without me, which is a private hearing which is against the law, even their law, and they had to base their decision on the only one that probably appeared. I don't know how the appearance was, whether it was by phone or by substitute attorney, because they use substitute attorneys that are local so that they don't have to drive across the state to attend a hearing. But here's a Supreme Court ruling from 1964 in Trinzi versus Pagliaro, in the District Court of Pennsylvania, 1964. Statements of counsel in brief or an argument are not facts before the court and are therefore insufficient for a motion to dismiss or for summary judgment. And my lawyer friend says, memorize that, commit that to memory. Lawyers cannot testify because they have no first-hand knowledge. Simple as that. The only things that they're supposed to bear it on is people that have signed affidavits. They have ignored all of my signed affidavits as if they didn't matter, because the 18th Judicial Circuit Court in and for Brevard County, Florida, is a criminal operation. So are all the other ones, and in every other state as well. These are criminal operations that have gotten away far too long with theft of property from people, violation of rights, improper imprisonment or false imprisonment, false arrest, committing battery, and even murder. And we've watched some of the murders on YouTube and on TV news shows. We've watched the police murder people. We've watched them spray people, and we've watched them put tear gas on people, even Ohio State football fans, because it's part of crowd control, supposedly. Things are out of hand, folks, and I will continue to speak out. I will continue to stand up for truth, and I have the feeling that everything ultimately is going to be okay. But it would be a lot easier if those of you that are choosing to consent by your silence to the evil that's going on in this world, it would be a lot easier if you would start speaking out with your friends and taking steps with your friends to do what needs to be done to bring down this house of cards, this house of fraud that has been built up, known as the United States of America Corporation, and all of its sub-corporations down to the local school board and the local police departments and the local sheriff departments. We've got to reverse this. We've got to turn it around. We've got to get back our republic in the United States, and we've got to get back our spirituality that takes responsibility and isn't afraid of action. A spirituality that stands up for what is right and tears down the false systems that have been built up to defraud us and to create a system of human slavery, and we are all its slaves until we overthrow it, till we bring it down, till we are able to put something else positive in its place. We will continue to be slaves of the matrix. You can run, you can hide, you can deny, you can avoid all you want. But as long as the system exists, if you're on this planet, you're a slave of the system. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't know it, even if you don't realize it, you're a slave of the system, because this is a prison planet, a slave planet. It's time to turn it around. That's all I'm going to share for today. Thank you for listening. Namaste. I know I said that was the end of the video. However, I forgot to add one thing. On the way home from court, my clutch went out in my car, and I had to get my car towed to my house. It's in the shop now, and I have to get parts replaced and everything. It's going to cost me, with the towing and everything, just under $400. Unexpected expenses, and plus I'm going to have, of course, some more legal stuff of filing paperwork and preparing paperwork. So I just wanted to add that in closing. Now, it's interesting that a month ago when I was in court, my cooling system overheated and I had to stop alongside the road, but I was only 2 to 3 miles or so from my house when that happened. And I was able to wait and fill up the radiator, and it turned out just to be a broken hose clamp. But in any case, it seems like the last two times, not seems like, the last two times I've been to court, I had a breakdown with my car on the way home. So I pray that my car will be fixed today, and I'll be able to then drive my children to school the rest of the week. I have to walk them to school apparently today because my daughter doesn't want them walking on the main roads without adult supervision. Anyway, that's my addition. Thank you for listening.